It was a cold winter morning on the busy streets of New York City, when Omar Khan, a 28-year-old immigrant from Pakistan, set up his small coffee cart for the very first time. Wrapped in an old leather jacket and a heart full of dreams, he stood outside the subway entrance in Brooklyn, hoping people would stop by for a cup of warmth. With no fancy branding, no flashy signs, and just one small borrowed coffee machine, Omar knew one thing: he had to make his coffee unforgettable. And he did. Omar didn't just serve coffee. He served comfort, greeted every customer with a smile, and remembered people's names and stories. He learned that people don't just come for caffeine, they come for connection. "Hey Mr. Turner, your double shot, no sugar, extra foam is ready." "Good morning, Emily. I added a little cinnamon like last time, on the house." Word spread fast. Commuters began skipping big chains to buy from Omar's humble cart. Within a year, the morning line for his coffee stretched around the block. And why not? His beans were fresh, his prices fair, and his service felt like family. But behind that smile, there were sleepless nights. Omar worked 16 hours a day, managed his cart alone, and often skipped meals to make rent. But he never let his energy fade. "This is not a cart," he'd tell himself. "This is my future." One rainy evening, a well-dressed man in his 50s stopped by. "Great coffee," he said. "Why are you wasting this on a cart?" That man was Robert Davis, a retired investment banker and coffee enthusiast. Over time, he and Omar became friends. One day, Robert asked, "Ever thought about opening a real shop?" Omar laughed, "I don't even have credit to rent an apartment, let alone open a store." But Robert saw something in Omar that reminded him of every great entrepreneur he'd met: vision, humility, and fire. He offered to co-sign a small space lease and loaned Omar $15,000 to start a cafe. With trembling hands and tear-filled eyes, Omar signed the lease on a small corner unit in Williamsburg. He named it O's Coffee Corner. Simple, like his dream. The first few months were brutal. He couldn't afford staff, did all the brewing, cleaning, and accounting himself. But just like his cart, Omar brought something Starbucks couldn't: authentic care. He trained himself in latte art, learned to roast beans, and personally curated the music playlist. He told stories of his journey to every customer who asked. Soon, O's Coffee Corner became a neighborhood favorite, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. The branding grew organically. Customers started posting photos on Instagram with captions like, "Best vibes in NYC. Omar remembers my name every time, feels like home." Within 2 years, Omar opened a second branch in Queens, then one in Manhattan. He started sourcing beans directly from ethical farms in Colombia and Ethiopia, building a socially responsible brand. He hired baristas from immigrant communities and paid them above minimum wage. His business model was simple. Respect your customer. Respect your product. Respect your team. By year 5, O's Coffee had 18 branches across the East Coast. One day, a journalist from the New York Times walked in, ordered a cappuccino, and ended up writing a feature titled, "The Man Who Brought Humanity Back to Coffee." That article went viral. Investors started calling. Franchising offers poured in. But Omar didn't rush. "Growth should never kill soul," he'd say. Instead of expanding too fast, he built a company culture focused on empathy, quality, and community. He started a Coffee with Cause program where a percentage of every cup went to building clean water wells in Pakistan and supporting single mothers in NYC. In 10 years, O's Coffee became a national brand with over 70 locations. Not once did they use plastic cups. Not once did they compromise on bean quality. And not once did Omar forget where it all started: a small cart and a bigger dream. Today, Omar is invited to business conferences across the country, not just as a CEO, but as a symbol of honest entrepreneurship. When asked what made him successful, he always says, People don't buy coffee. They buy how you make them feel. Glowing star final thought. In a world chasing scale, automation, and branding, Omar Khan reminded America of something timeless. Business is not about money, it's about meaning. And sometimes, all it takes is one cart, one dream, and one man who refuses to give up.